DETV News is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
Good evening and welcome to DETV News. I'm Matt Ford. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. Topping the news today, classes resume for students at Delaware State University today after a weekend shooting that took the life of an 18-year-old Wilmington woman. Kamei Mitchell Da Silva died as a result of the gunshot to an upper body. An apparent bystander early Sunday morning when a fight broke out in the dorms. Da Silva was not involved in the altercation, according to police. Da Silva was not a registered student at DSU and was visiting the campus. No other injuries were reported. The campus was open on Monday, but classes were canceled. University officials made counseling services available to the community. DSU officials held a virtual forum for students, staff, faculty, and parents on Tuesday to share resources that were available to the community. More than 600 people tuned in to that forum. And University Police and the Dover Police Department are investigating the shooting. Anyone with information is asked to call 302-736-7130. Calls can remain anonymous. And in other news, Appoquinimink School District voters head back to the polls today, just over 4 months after rejecting a referendum campaign. This time around, the vote will be streamlined into two parts, omitting a contentious proposal for a bus parking lot. The capital referendum aims to increase a tax rate by 3 cents per $100 assessed value, funding the district's portion of a $280 million plan for 3 new schools. Failure to pass this measure risks losing $213.5 million in state funding. Additionally, the operational referendum seeks over $11 million for teacher raises, school safety, and student resources. Superintendent Matt Burrows warns of the major cuts if the referendum fails, again including the elimination of extracurricular activities and staff layoffs. District officials emphasize the urgency of addressing student growth. Polls are open here today on Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at various schools across the district. Appoquinimink sets the stage for similar referendums in Cape Henlopen and Smyrna districts later this year. And staying in the area, a Middletown travel agency owner has been charged with making fraudulent purchases using a former customer's credit card. State police say they were alerted back in late January to the alleged actions of 55-year-old Jane Fencer, who is the owner of Wanderlust Tours and Travel. According to police, Fencer allegedly racked up $19,000 in purchases on just one credit card back in December, and they have discovered even more since then. Fencer has been released on her own recognizance, but police are asking anyone who believes they have been a victim in this case to contact detectives at Troop 2. And state police have arrested a 25-year-old Blades, Delaware man following a shooting incident in the town on Sunday morning. Troopers responded shortly before 8:30 a.m. to the East 5th Street for a report of shots fired. Officers were able to get a description of the suspect and the vehicle that he fled in and tracked down Harold Dixon later in that day. According to police, Dixon was involved in an argument with a woman and fired several shots into the ground outside a house. There was a child apparently indoors at the house at this time. Dixon was charged with aggravated menacing and endangering the welfare of a child, along with several weapons offenses. He's currently being held at Sussex Correctional Institution on a $107,000 cash bond. And the state fire marshal's office is investigating the cause of a blaze that tore through a residential property in Newark on Monday. Firefighters rushed to the scene at Octave Court in Harmony Woods around 2:30 in the afternoon to battle the flames engulfing the attached garage of a 2-story home, which quickly spread to consume the entirety of the home. Firefighters had the blaze under control within about 30 minutes. No injuries were reported in connection with this incident. And police in Wilmington have arrested a suspect for the shooting death over the weekend. Detectives identified 41-year-old Francisco Valencia Avila as the suspect in the fatal shooting early Sunday of 35-year-old Lupe Badalo Castillo. The shooting occurred in the 300 block of North Union Street on the city's edge of the city's Hilltop neighborhood. Valencia Avila was arrested later Sunday. He is charged with murder and weapons offenses and is being held at the Howard R. Young Correctional Institution on a $500,000 cash-only bail. And state police have also arrested 43-year-old Yanga Shu of Bear, Delaware, for aggravated menacing with a knife last week in Bear. Police announced that today. On April 17th, shortly after 11 in the morning, troopers responded to a report of aggravated menacing on Rickey Boulevard in Bear. Upon arriving, troopers learned that the suspect and the victim worked together and have had conflicts in the past. Sue blocked the victim's vehicle with his van, and as the victim was trying to leave a parking space, the victim got out of his vehicle to confront Sue and saw Sue holding an unfolded pocket knife. He then fled but returned to the parking lot where troopers were at the scene investigating, and he was taken immediately into custody without incident. He was released after posting a $66,000 cash bond. And the Delaware State Police continue to investigate a fatal pedestrian hit-and-run crash that occurred on Harbison Road last week. Troopers are asking for the public's help in locating 2 vehicles involved in this crash. State Police Troop 7 Collision Reconstruction Unit is attempting to locate 2 vehicles involved in the fatal pedestrian hit-and-run crash that occurred on April 19th. The first vehicle is described as a silver car with moderate front-end damage to it. The second car is described as a smaller white SUV, again with minor front-end damage or damage to the undercarriage. Both of these cars were seen last driving northbound on Harbison Road after the crash. And amidst the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, hope emerges in the form of a state-of-the-art $150 million facility poised to revolutionize biopharmaceutical innovation. Dubbed the Securing American Biomanufacturing Research and Education Center, this 70,000 square foot structure will serve as a hub for the training of the next generation of biopharmaceutical workers. Funded by a mix of federal and state resources, including an $8 million allocation from Congress, the center aims to accelerate the development and commercial adoption of groundbreaking biopharmaceutical technologies. UD President Dennis Assanis says that the center will not only generate thousands of new jobs, but also foster a workforce equipped with the skills to lead the industry forward. Stay tuned for updates on this endeavor as Delaware continues to assert its position in the global leader biopharmaceutical innovation. And it was the end of Delaware native Olivia Rubini's journey on The Voice this week. The Padua Academy grad competed in the playoff round on The Voice. Rubini was hoping to move into the next phase of the competition on Team Dan and Shay. No, she did a fantastic job singing her rendition of the Pretenders' hit, I'll Stand By You, but she unfortunately was eliminated.
This is a very, very difficult decision right now. The third artist moving on to the lives. It's Tay.
Tay Lewis! Congratulations!
I love y'all so much. I feel like we've built connections and relationships with everybody on Team Dan and Shay, and to have to see a few of those artists go home is heartbreaking, and it just really makes our decision tough.
Breaks my heart. Everyone here in her home state was so sad to see her leave the competition, but we know there is so much more ahead for her. Rubini took to her social media pages to express her gratitude for her time on the show, saying in part, quote, making it to the top 20 has so far exceeded any expectations I could have ever had when this process began. She says this has truly been the biggest blessing and honor. She already has a pair of Delaware concerts on her schedule. First up is a performance at this year's Wilmington Flower Market on Friday, May 10th. She is also slated to perform at the New Sunrise Festival at Shellville in Rehoboth Beach. That is Saturday, June 8th. And that's going to do it for tonight's edition of DETV News. Be sure to follow us all across your favorite social media platforms and for a look at what's happening all around the first state of Delaware. Oh my God. 3, 2. And that's going to do it for tonight's edition of DETV News. Be sure to follow us across your favorite social media platforms and for a look at what's happening all around Delaware, head to our website. That's DETVCH.com. With DETV News, I'm Matt Ford. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. We don't talk about prostate cancer enough, and it's the most diagnosed form of cancer and the second most common cause of cancer death among black men in both Delaware and the United States. Approximately 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime, but just by asking your healthcare provider if you should get a screening could help you detect prostate cancer early and save your life. So let's talk about it. Talk to your healthcare provider today about a prostate cancer screening if you are 40 years of age or older, or have a family history of prostate cancer. If you don't have insurance or if your insurance doesn't pay for cancer screenings, Screening for Life may provide you with the screenings that you need, and nurse navigators make this process easier. To learn more, visit healthydelaware.org/prostate or call 211. Ask your healthcare provider about a prostate cancer screening, and you're asking for so much more.